Okay, now I'm happy it said recording in
Okay, is that
progress.
me or you? Do you know?
I know I am, and I think I just gave you permission.
Oh, okay, good. I'm so happy. Okay.
Okay,
This meeting is
so
being recorded. Good. We're
okay, now
recording it.
let me get me on the screen too. Okay, I guess it don't matter as long as we got you. People would rather see you than me anyway. Anyway, this is King George from WHPK 88.5 FM and RadioMedia.com. The Rocky Horror, I've said it right, George, the Rocky Horror Music Show. I can't remember how many years it's been going on. They do it everywhere. One amazing thing about it is the audience participation thing, which I'm going to talk to you. I've got one of the original from the movie, the original, not only the play, the musical and everything, but one of the original actors in the play, the astounding Barry Bostwick. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you? I was involved in this little movie called the Rocky Horror Picture Show 49 years ago, and people are still flocking to it every weekend somewhere in the world. It's the longest running movie continuously ever in cinema history, and it's in the Library of Congress, and people are just they're what you call fanatics. They see this movie hundreds of times, and I encourage them to do it.
Yeah, when you first got the role, you couldn't have, did you have any inkling how long it would last? It was some, I'll do this movie and while I'm waiting for another role, and probably nobody will think nothing of it. And now, 50 years later, you're still doing it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. 5 weeks work. It was a small budget, low
That
budget.
was all?
5 weeks work in England. Yeah, cold, miserable England in November, and it was a low budget movie. We were shooting it in a derelict movie studio called Bray Studios, which had done all the Hammer films.
Okay.
And we were just making a B movie that was a takeoff on a B movie, and it was interesting to be in that environment, and then you leave, and then you go home for Christmas and you go, well, that was fun. Let's go on to the next thing. And then a couple of years later, I hear that the audience has embraced it, taken it to their hearts, and turned it into this entertainment that is a one-off. It's never been done before, where they yell back at the screen and they throw things and they dress up and that's the event. It's an event. It's not just a movie anymore. It's an event.
And I think, like you said, probably somewhere in the world it's playing every day.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I mean, my son is in Europe now, and he that was playing at Cambridge when he was there. It's playing in Heidelberg when now he's there. He was
Wow.
just in Paris 3 weeks ago and was at a theater. He showed me a picture of it there. It's everywhere. It's just everywhere, and it's uh, because I think it's just it is a fun party, and people just want to go and forget whatever they do for a living and go and act out and just be naughty for an evening.
Can you remember the first time? When was the first time you did it live in front of audience?
Well, I've never done the show. I mean, I did the movie. I never did the actual show. I've only done the movie, and I've only seen it with these cast members, these shadow casts all over the world who react and basically do the movie in front of the movie live and engage the audience in a unique way and create these callback situations and throwing props and all of that. So I have been a fly on the wall for 49 years, just loving this community that has grown up around it, who have created this sort of safe space for people to act up and act out and perhaps explore who they genuinely are in the world, and to, I want to say, embrace our differences. And I think that's what we've encouraged as a film.
So are they literally somebody who's ever cosplaying you is literally saying your lines kind of in the audience while the movie is going on?
Well, yeah, what happens is that it's all sort of mimed in front of the film, and so they just do all of the gestures and everything,
Wow.
and so what you hear is the dialogue from the film, but then you hear the audience yelling back at the film with nasty, gross, wonderfully witty comments, and so the shadow cast never really says anything. They just do stuff, which is funny.
I can imagine it's amazing. When was the first time you seen that? Or did
I,
was it maybe a year or two after you did the movie, or did somebody tell you you ain't gonna believe this? You got to come to this and see what's happening.
yeah, that's it. Somebody said you got to come and see it because it had taken over and become this cult phenomenon, and it had never happened before. So I saw it in New York, I saw it in Hollywood,
Wow.
and I was just I was as entertained, I think, as the audience was, because the audience was the entertainment. I'd
Hmm.
seen the movie, so I,
Of
I
course.
what was happening was that people were yelling things from the audience at us on screen, and some of them were incredibly witty and funny, and some of them didn't land. But it was the fact that the audience felt the permissiveness. They could go and do whatever they wanted in that theater and come up with props that reflected what was, what I say in the movie, Great Scott. All of a sudden, everybody in the audience throws Scott toilet paper all over the theater. Yeah, and then all you can think of is those poor guys who have to clean up that theater at the end of the night. It's just littered with rolls of toilet paper. And that's just one of the props. There's squirt guns, there's all this other stuff that has been explored by casts all over the world and added to the experience.
Did the first time you experienced it, I'm kind of saying it. I think it's one of the first things that ever got cosplayed by people. I mean, I know it's common conventions and conventions do it.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to any conventions? Because I know it's Rocky Horror Convention, just like they got Star Wars conventions and stuff. Have you ever been to one of them and seen them dressed up like you guys?
Oh, sure, sure. We don't have a lot of Rocky Horror themed conventions, but we certainly do a lot of conventions where we are part of the sort of entertainment. Well, sometimes I do these things called Galaxy Cons in the country, and there's maybe 4 or 5 a year, and we'll
Okay.
do a screening. We'll do a screening of Rocky Horror, and I'll sit there for 3 days and sign autographs and talk to fans, and other cast members will be with me. Sometimes Susan Sarandon will be with us, or Patricia Quinn, or or Nell, little Nell, or Tim Curry will be there, and we just celebrate the movie with the fans.
Okay, so a few times you guys have kind of been together, the cast, the original cast, for one of the viewings.
Oh yeah, we do it a couple of times. Well, not everybody, but we do a couple of big shows a year. We just did one in I think we just did one in Denver. We just did one in
Okay.
London,
Okay.
and you know, like that.
It's amazing. I got to ask you because I was reading your biography. You've done so many things, and you've been so fortunate to be able to just act in so many different projects. You were in The Incredibles. You were who?
Oh, I played the mayor in Incredibles too. I
Okay,
Small part, but
but it's grown.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, because I think it's because I played a mayor in a show called Spin City with Michael J. Fox for
Right.
six.
Yeah, I remember that, and that was great. So that's kind of you got typecast
Yeah,
because
so if there's a mayor part or a president part, and they're looking for a voice,
say we need a Barry Bostwick to do
yeah,
this. Oh well, we might be able to get him for you.
yeah, but that's I know. I saw that on a breakdown for a couple like a year ago for somebody said we're looking for a Richard kind of voice. Well, Richard Kind is an actor who was
Right,
in
right,
Sin
right.
City with me, and I said no, I said exactly what you just said. We'll hire Richard Kind. He does these things for a living. You don't
Right,
need a
right. You could get the actual Richard Kind.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He said you can get me too. I mean, you come up with the right project and something. Yeah. Well, hey, I know. How long have you been in your business?
Oh, 40, 50 years.
Yeah, exactly. You're known throughout for how expert you are at what you do.
Yeah, I think that there may be a King George type somewhere, and people say that because I have had people, I got your number and they told me what you do, and I think you're perfect for this. And I say, oh, thank you, whoever. Sometimes I don't remember who recommended me, but I'm just glad that whatever I do is good enough that people recommend me for it.
Yeah.
What is your favorite stage, movies, television, or is it just as long as I got a gig?
I think maybe it's well, yeah, it has to do with I think I choose things basically as they come along, and I'll go, well, this is a piece of crap and I don't want to do it. And
Okay.
and other times I'll go, well, it's interesting script and my character has like one really good scene. And I might do the movie just for that one scene,
Okay.
because it's challenging, or I've never done that before as an actor, or I'm going to learn something about the world or myself by doing it. The It's so hard. It's you as you get older, the parts diminish,
Of course.
and I hope that I'm not I hope that and a lot of your competition either leave the business because they want to move to Boulder, or they die.
Oh, they died,
And
right?
so you're just hoping you can outlive your competition and still get those parts. And so far I've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. Comedy or drama?
Oh, comedy, definitely. Drama. Well, there's comedy and drama, and there's
True.
obviously drama and comedy, but I like always looking for the unusual slant on something and how I can comment on it in a humorous way, or just find a moment that is surprising to an audience that is a reflection of my personal sense of humor.
Okay. That makes sense. So well, of course, you're probably wherever you are, so you won't be here for the performance. Could you tell them if you know when it's coming here and how they can get tickets?
Well, sure. I mean, where are we? Where are we at the moment?
Chicago.
Yes, Chicago, of course. Well, let's see. I'm going to look at my schedule here. Let's see.
Okay.
Chicago is the
I
Cadillac
believe it's
Theater.
October, yeah.
Yeah, October 20th, Sunday.
Okay.
October 20th at the Cadillac Theater, and you can get tickets through them or through the website of the 49th Spectacular Tour. Um, and
Probably at Broadway in Chicago.com.
Yeah, I would suspect. You know what? I just go and do these things. I show up. I mean, I'm there. I host the evening. We have costume contests. We have the Virgin ceremony, which
So
and
you'll be here on the 20th.
oh yeah, of course.
Oh
That's why I
wow.
did. Oh yeah, I'm
That's
coming there,
fantastic.
and I open the show, but I don't. I'm not acting in the
Right,
show.
but you're kind of like the moderator.
Exactly. I'm the moderator. I do 10 or 15 minutes of Q&As. I also do a meet and greet beforehand. I sign autographs for the meet and greet people, and we just basically throw a party for the night, and so I'm looking forward to that. And we have a great shadow cast there that it's just a whole evening of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait. Okay, I got to ask you this before I let you go, because I asked this of every actor, musician, singer, playwright, whatever they do. Can you remember the moment, the time, maybe even the day or year that you got the paradigm shift that said, hey, I might be a policeman for a minute or two. I might teach a class, but I want to do is entertain. I want to be part of the business called show. Can you remember when that hit you at first?
Well, probably when I was like 12 years old and I was singing folk music with my friends and fellow students in high school, and I would we would go and sing at the YMCA, or we would sing at somebody's party, or we'd sing at the high school, uh, when they would meet. When I don't What do they call that in high school when everybody has to come together, and then, well,
Uh, I can't remember. It's been so long. We talking about old
but
guys.
it was high school,
Not
but it was,
study room, but whatever it is. I
yeah,
know. I know when I was in high school, a lot of times we started singing in the washroom.
yeah.
And then, it sounds pretty good in here. Maybe we should take it to a stage.
And did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. And that's kind of why I eventually got into this. I Not to be taking an interview away from you, when I was like 10 or 11, I had, my little hairbrush and stuff. That was my microphone, of course.
Hmm.
And I would be interviewing folks because I wasn't King George and I was George. I was saying, this is the George show. And tonight we're interviewing Frank Sinatra, and I'd be interviewing Frank Sinatra. I'd be doing his voice. However, in my mind, I thought it's but I was interviewing him when I was 10 or 11. And my mom and dad said, "You're crazy. You're doing two or three different voices." Yeah, mom, but I got to get ready to interview him because I'm going to be interviewing folks someday. Because I would see the talk shows and stuff, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. And I did it, like I say, with a hairbrush, and now I'm doing it as Zoom with Barry Bostwick.
Wow. It's amazing, isn't it? And
Yeah,
we're all, and that we've connected now almost 50 years later from our careers, and shared our lives. I never would have had the opportunity to meet you if I hadn't done what I've done with this Rocky Horror thing. We would have, our lives would have just gone, we would
right.
have gone in opposite directions. But I've enjoyed talking to you and learning about your life. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, not a problem. It's just sometimes I find it so similar. I might not be on the scale of a lot of folks I interview, and a lot of times, and it includes you. I'm a fanboy, and I've watched your work and stuff. So I gotta not let my enthusiasm to be talking to somebody that I watched for years, and then just be thorough with the interview because I'm excited to actually talk with the people I admired for so long. And fortunately, it's not always that case, and I ain't gonna mention no names, but fortunately, you're even better than I imagined you would be. You're
Oh,
just
well, thank
open
you.
and friendly.
Thank you so much. Well, listen, it's been great talking to you, and
Okay, and October
come see
20th,
this. Come see this.
I will be there. Hopefully, I get a chance to meet you up close and personal and watch you moderate and explain to all us crazies about the Rocky Horror. And I
I
look
will.
forward to October 20th. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, King.
Okay, see ya on the 20th.
I'll see you too. And if this
Okay.
recording thing doesn't work, have contact me, and I'll send you my copy of it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you, Barry.
Thanks. Bye.